The atomic bomb is one of the most powerful and terrifying weapons ever created. But what exactly is it? Why is it so feared? And how does it work? Today, we'll break down everything you need to know about atomic bombs, from their science to their devastating impact.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
An atomic bomb is a nuclear weapon that unleashes its destructive power through nuclear fission, the process of splitting the nuclei of heavy atoms like uranium-235 or plutonium-239. When a single atom of these materials splits, it releases not only a vast amount of energy, but also additional neutrons. These neutrons collide with other atoms, splitting them in turn, and the reaction multiplies exponentially in a chain reaction. All of this happens in a fraction of a second, producing blinding heat, crushing shock waves, and lethal radiation. Building an atomic bomb is not simply a matter of force. It's a terrifying display of precision, secrecy, and advanced science. The core of the bomb relies on fissile material, either uranium-235 or plutonium-239. But these materials don't come ready to use. Uranium, found naturally in the Earth's crust, is mostly composed of uranium-238, which is not suitable for sustaining a rapid chain reaction. Only about 0.7% of natural uranium is the desired uranium-235 isotope. To make it weapon-grade, uranium must be enriched using gas centrifuges that spin uranium hexafluoride gas at extremely high speeds, separating the lighter U-235 atoms from the heavier U-238. Plutonium-239, on the other hand, doesn't exist in nature in significant amounts. It must be created artificially in nuclear reactors. Uranium-238 is exposed to neutron radiation inside the reactor, transforming into plutonium-239. Extracting this material from spent fuel rods is a complicated and hazardous chemical process, carried out in heavily guarded reprocessing facilities. Once the fissile material is prepared, it is shaped into a subcritical mass, a form that cannot yet sustain a chain reaction. The challenge, then, is to bring this material into a supercritical state quickly and precisely at the moment of detonation. There are two main designs for this. Gun-type design. Two subcritical masses of uranium are kept at opposite ends of a barrel-like structure. When fired, conventional explosives propel one mass into the other, forming a single supercritical piece that initiates a runaway chain reaction. This was the method used in the Little Boy bomb. Implosion-type design. A core of plutonium, or highly enriched uranium, is surrounded by carefully arranged layers of high explosives. When detonated, these explosives compress the core symmetrically from all sides, drastically increasing its density. This implosion squeezes the fissile material into a supercritical state, causing it to explode. This more complex method was used in the Fat Man bomb, but the engineering goes even deeper. These bombs require neutron initiators, tamper layers, reflectors, and precise timing systems to ensure the chain reaction happens at exactly the right moment and in the right way. The nuclear chain reaction. One neutron hits a fissile nucleus, causing it to split and release more neutrons. These then collide with more nuclei, and the cycle repeats. Each generation of reactions multiplies the energy in particles exponentially. Millions of reactions in a blink of an eye. This process occurs so fast that the bomb explodes before it has time to destroy itself. The entire event, from the triggering to the final blast, happens in millionths of a second. Once triggered, it cannot be stopped. This is the brutal elegance of atomic science, unleashing forces that were once locked inside the very building blocks of matter. The atomic bomb is not just an explosion, it's a weapon of total destruction. When detonated, it releases a fireball hotter than the surface of the sun, vaporizing everything at ground zero. The shock wave flattens buildings for miles, crushing steel and concrete like paper. But the most insidious killer is radiation. Invisible, silent, and long-lasting, radiation poisons the environment for decades. Survivors of the blast face radiation sickness, burns, and cancers. Their children may suffer birth defects. The psychological trauma, too, stretches across generations, leaving scars on nations, families, and memory itself. Despite its horror, many nations still pursue the atomic bomb, not necessarily to use it, but to ensure no one uses it against them. This is the logic of nuclear deterrence. The idea that possessing a bomb makes a country untouchable. If one country has it, others feel they must have it too. This arms race has led to the rise of nuclear powers like the United States, Russia, China, the United Kingdom, France, India, Pakistan, and North Korea. Israel is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons as well, though it has never confirmed it. To these nations, the bomb represents security, power, and survival. But to others, it represents a dangerous illusion, a balance of fear built on the potential for mutual destruction. The atomic bomb brought an end to World War II, but it also marked the beginning of a new global era, the Cold War, where nations lived under the constant threat of nuclear annihilation. For decades, humanity lived with air raid drills, fallout shelters, and doomsday scenarios. Treaties like the Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, and nuclear arms reduction agreements were signed to control the spread. But the threat never truly disappeared. Today, in conflicts from Ukraine to the South China Sea, the specter of nuclear weapons still looms. Hypersonic delivery systems, tactical nukes, and rogue states have added new layers of uncertainty. The atomic bomb remains in the background, silent, powerful, waiting. It stands as both a symbol of human genius and a monument to our most dangerous impulses. On August 6, 1945, the world witnessed devastation unlike anything before. The American B-29 bomber Enola Gay dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima. It exploded nearly 600 meters above the ground, instantly killing between 60,000 and 80,000 people. 3 days later, on August 9th, a second bomb was dropped, this time on Nagasaki. Originally aimed at Kokura, cloud cover forced the crew to redirect. Around 40,000 were killed instantly, and the final death toll surpassed 50,000. A third of the city was destroyed in a single moment. The atomic bomb is not just a weapon. It is a mirror showing what humans are capable of, both in science and in destruction. It asks us a question: if we can build this, what will we do with it? And more importantly, can we survive it?